Even though it seems Bungie is in trouble now, apparently this isn't the first time the Destiny developer has been on its last legs. And in case that didn't spike your cortisol, Xbox's new chief strategy officer has a neat solution to the rising cost of gaming hardware, and it's streaming and in-game ads.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, start stocking up on those verification cans now, folks. You're going to need a whole pile of them when GTA 6 rolls around. Also, speaking of headlines I never expected to read out loud in my life, RGG Studio addressed their casting of deceased rapper Tupac Shakur in their upcoming game Stranger Than Heaven. And Valve has been sued again in a class action lawsuit claiming that it operates a monopoly.
It's a weird world in gaming, so let's get the news going by throwing to the one Inside Game staffer that's also been sued over a game of Monopoly, Brian Garr.
Look, they can sue all they want. I get the car. That's just the rules. I always get to start with a car. They have to do the dog or the thimble or whatever. But yeah, let's talk about Bungie. A former Bungie employee is pushing back on the idea that Sony alone was responsible for Destiny 2's closing down, saying that the studio was already in serious trouble before its 2022 acquisition by Sony. As Destiny 2 enters what appears to be its final chapter following its last updates, some fans have blamed Sony for shifting focus away from Destiny 2 and toward Marathon, but according to former community manager Leanna Rupert, the studio's problem started well before Sony arrived.
Yeah, in an ex-post, Rupert wrote, quote, "This fight was pre-Sony. Bungie was below the red line before the Sony acquisition. If it wasn't acquired right then, the studio was very close to shutting its doors at the very least on Destiny. It was an emergency acquisition."
Oh, geez, that's really bad. Bungie had already been navigating a difficult stretch after splitting from Activision in 2019 to self-publish Destiny. Over the following years, the studio faced criticism over changes to content delivery, microtransactions, and pricing, while also dealing with a declining player base and layoffs.
Yeah, and as we know, Sony ultimately acquired Bungie in 2022 for $3.6 billion. At the time, that was seen as a major bet on live service gaming, but the relationship, to say the least, has not produced the results either side hoped for.
Yeah, this is really fascinating for a variety of reasons. But yeah, last month, Sony reported a $766 million impairment loss tied to the Bungie acquisition for its 2025 fiscal year, citing, of course, disappointing performance from both Destiny 2 and Marathon. But I guess what's fascinating to me is they clearly bought them overvalued. But if it was an emergency acquisition, how did Bungie have any leverage to ask something that was overvalued? I think I would have thought Sony would be able to like grill them down. And what followed was what seemed, just from the outsider's perspective, seemingly pretty wasteful couple of years of spending from Bungie with loads of hiring. And it may, I think back to that statement that Pete Parsons made when they got acquired, talking about how they had this grand creative vision for all these transmedia projects and animations and new worlds that Bungie would birth. But if they were just about to shut down, where does this hubris come from? This creative, like, oh, everything we do is going to succeed now, and I'm just going to say yes to everything. I don't know. It's just baffling to me in the business world how nothing that happens before right now ever seems to matter or factor into decision making. It's just somebody in one room gave a hell of a presentation, bang, $3 billion on the table, even though they spent 5 years driving the company to the ground with a variety of bad decisions. So yeah, just another day in business, I guess.
Destiny 2 was such a good game, too. I also feel like Destiny wasn't quite the dumpster fire in 2022 that it became, but yeah. It's a bummer. All right, let's talk about Xbox. Again, it's been a rough week for Xbox. They say that rising console prices may be helping cloud gaming adoption, so get ready for Xbox Stadia. But one of its top executives also pushed back on reports about advertising plans in the future.
Yeah, so speaking at the Games Business Live event, Xbox Chief Strategy Officer Matthew Ball said the recent spike in hardware prices has created a great window for streaming as more players look for ways to access games without buying new consoles.
I mean, I hate it, but he's kind of right. If you can't afford it, what are you going to do? Yeah, referring, of course, to Xbox Cloud Gaming, Ball said, quote, "We are seeing a lot more people using the platform. They are trying it." Great. You have played a video game.
All your base are belong to us. Yeah. Ball stressed that cloud gaming is only one piece of Xbox's broader strategy and reiterated Microsoft's commitment to consoles.
That's because he realized what he said and was like, we want to sell Project Helix. He said, quote, "We feel very strongly about a return to Xbox. We are very clear. I want no mistake around that." Sure.
Yes, that PR training is coming through. It's shining like a diamond. I love it. I can tell there was some consistent messaging from every executive kind of hitting the same point. So they were awake during their meeting. Yeah. These comments came as Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, and Valve have all raised console prices amid ongoing market pressures tied to the AI-driven demand for chips and hardware. But during this interview, it also seemed like Ball said that Xbox was considering in-game ads, which many would assume to be intrusive, because how could they not be?
Yeah, that caused a little bit of a firestorm online, and then Ball posted a clarification on X. He said that the interpretation was not correct and explained that he had just been responding to an old comment made long before he joined Xbox.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. He wrote, "Crow, what I do say is that ads should be used to offer more affordable alternatives alongside today's ad-free experiences, in the hopes more could play as a result. Similar to how Netflix and Disney Plus have ad tiers with all the same content, but at half the price or so." I don't even know if that's a good model that we all want. Like, I don't know if so we're going to say xCloud is what, $5 a month with ads? Like, no way, dude. There's no way they're going to charge that. It's going to be way more than that with ads.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, Bruce. That's every streaming service now. It's the same price that it used to be. They've added a premium tier that's no ads, and this one that is the same price you used to pay now has ads everywhere. And that's exactly how it's going to work. There's no way that any company is going to be happy with just one revenue stream. They're not going to be like, oh, we get ads from them and we get money from them, and that's enough for us. No, of course not. They're going to find ways to further monetize every group of person. Whether they're taking the subsidized plan with ads, they're going to hit them with more ads or raise their prices, or they're going to start pushing ads into what they call the premium tier, add a new ultra premium tier. It's all garbage. It's all garbage. Slippery slope for sure. But to Ball's credit, and I think he understands this, he understands the optics of how this sounds. He did add that he never mentioned in-game ads and personally believes that, quote, interrupting the gameplay experience would be bad. There you go. There you go. He's made his presidential statement. Everybody clapped. Even still, surely he can understand why people might be a little jittery given what we've seen everywhere else in the world.
I just also don't want to subscribe to anything anymore. I want a game, I want to play it, and I want to move on to the next game. That's all. That's it. All right, let's move on to Valve. They're facing a potential $220 million euro headache in the Netherlands, where a new consumer class action claims the company has been overcharging PC gamers for years.
The case argues that Steam's parent company holds an estimated 85% share of the PC game distribution market and uses that dominance to keep prices artificially high?
Yeah, I don't think anyone associates high prices with Steam. That's kind of interesting. This is similar to the PlayStation lawsuit, except the PlayStation lawsuit had like real figures showing some digital inflation going on. But we'll see here. According to the complaint, Valve's policies prevent developers from selling games at lower prices on competing storefronts like the Epic Games Store.
Yeah, they also take issue with Valve's standard 30% cut of game sales and claims Steam's rules around in-game purchases force players to use Steam Wallet, generating additional commissions for Valve.
Based on an analysis from Copenhagen Economics, the group estimates Dutch consumers have suffered more than 220 million euros in damages since 2013, which is about 130 euros per Steam account across roughly 2 million Dutch users.
Yeah, this is interesting. They're definitely using their leverage here. The case hasn't formally reached court yet. The foundation says it plans to first seek a settlement with Valve before filing a lawsuit, though it says it's prepared to pursue litigation that could take 3 to 5 years if negotiations fail.
Yeah, and Valve CEO Gabe Newell has rejected claims repeatedly that Steam operates as a monopoly, arguing that players can choose from competing stores, consoles, and direct purchases from developers.
Similar cases are already taking place in the United Kingdom and the United States, where regulators and developers are challenging many of these same policies. So, I think people think that Valve is being targeted currently because, of course, everybody loves Daddy Gabe. But it's happening everywhere.
Yeah, very curious, very curious. All these complaints come just as Valve appears to be ramping up shipments of its upcoming Steam Frame VR headset, with recently discovered shipping records suggesting tens of thousands of units may already be headed to the company's US warehouse ahead of a summer launch. So we'll have a reason to play VR games, artificially inflated or not. So this is really, really interesting to me because while there are accusations that Steam has threatened to delist indie games and even bigger games, it clearly doesn't do the same when another store gives away games for free. Epic has always given away free games, and Steam doesn't take action against that. So I think they're just pushing against this perception that you can get games cheaper anywhere else, which it's anti-competitive, right? There was actually a really nice comment on when we reported on the last lawsuit that Valve had, kind of tightening up what the actual definition of a monopoly is, or when it crosses that line. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it right now, but it was a good comment. I wish I could remember it.
Lawrence, I know what you're talking about. It's not a monopoly, it's a monopsony. And that's an economic market condition where a single buyer dominates the market, giving them substantial power to dictate prices and terms to numerous sellers. Yeah, so it's a different. They're saying no, it's not a monopoly, it's a monopsony, and which I guess is also could be considered illegal. I guess in some places. I don't know about here in the U.S., but
one thing that kind of makes it different than something like PlayStation is you can buy and sell Steam codes too. Steam will sell codes to third parties who can then optionally sell them at a discount as well. I guess it all goes through Steam as well, but yeah, that's one thing PlayStation explicitly doesn't do. Everything has to go through their first party store, and that's the only point of sale. And yeah, with Steam kind of taking away physical trading cards, it's kind of marching towards that a little bit by bits and pieces. But Steam still seems a little more open. I don't know. This one's tough. But I do wish other stores could fully compete. And hey, if they get tagged by a court here and there, maybe they'll change their policies.
All right, and finally, the director of Stranger Than Heaven is defending the game's surprising decision to include Tupac Shakur as a character in the game nearly 30 years after the rapper's death. I cannot believe it's been 30 years.
Yeah, Lawrence and I were very excited when we saw this last week. After the reveal sparked debate online, RGG studio head Masayoshi Yokoyama said the team worked with both Tupac's estate and family before moving forward.
I know that there's some huffing over what that means, actually, because his estate is kind of tied up with a weird. Anyway, Yokoyama and the family, I think, has all passed away. So what? He used a Ouija board to talk to his family? I don't know. Anyway, Yokoyama told IGN, quote, "We made sure that we talked to his estate and family and got their permission. They not only said okay, but they were really excited about the opportunity."
Yokoyama also stressed that the character's voice is not AI generated. Instead, the studio cast a real actor because it wanted someone to, quote, put their own spin on that character, unquote, rather than simply imitate Tupac.
I'm all right with that, I guess. I think that's better than AI. The director acknowledged that some fans are uncomfortable with the idea, but said the team believes the character adds value to the game and has, quote, no real regrets or worries about the decision.
As Stranger Than Heaven, packed to the gills with the ghosts of past musicians, launching on January 15th for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S.
All right, let's do a 5-second review. So one of my favorite things about the internet, maybe the best thing about the internet, is indie games. And so this is a game, Paladins Quest. It is a 40 kilobyte game that somebody developed for the NES. It's basically, the idea is, what if I made a roguelike from 1986? It is very hard. It's awesome. Shout out to Skull and Candle Games. I've been playing it all morning, but super fun. I just love, I also like that you have to be creative within very constrictive limits. So yeah, super fun. Well worth the free download.
Hey, free. I like that. Inside Games is yet again on your side with a lineup of free games for the weekend. You can get the 4-player co-op shooter Rogue Point. You're basically all it's kind of like you're all the military dudes in Half-Life running around. That's free this weekend on Steam. We've also got the dog mushing narrative game, The Red Lantern. You can claim that for free on Steam.
Eats, the 2006 debut puzzle game from Clay Entertainment, is actually also free on Steam. There's a lot of games that are free on Steam this weekend. Jeez. And then also Warhammer 40k Speed Freaks is free on Epic.
Xbox is giving away Tell Me Why Chapters 1 through 3 in honor of Pride Month. good for console and PC, also on Steam. Xbox console users can play State of Decay 2 free until Sunday, while Blasphemous 2 has a 5-hour trial.
And this is a small little shout out here in case Lego Batman gave anyone the hunger. Batman Arkham Knight has been added to PC Game Pass. It might take a little modding to make it fully like buttery and smooth, but great game, and I think it comes with all the trimmings too. Loads and loads and loads of DLC. So if that game didn't quench your thirst, the main course is right there.
All right, let's move on to the games that are coming out this week. First up, Mole. Pilot the Mole, a monstrous post-war drilling machine built to descend deep below the Slavic soil, fix failing system, follow voices of the dead, and pray you can survive whatever is sharing your coffin. Will the vessel or your mind break first? Comes to PC June 15th.
Pokemon Champions. Get ready to experience everything you love about Pokemon battles all in one place in Pokemon Champions. This new battle-focused game will feature familiar mechanics such as Pokemon types, abilities, and moves, creating an environment conducive to rich and varied strategies for new and experienced trainers alike. It comes to iOS and Android June 17th.
R-Type Tactics 1 and 2 Cosmos. Oh boy. Turn tactical turn-based strategy on its side in R-Type Tactics 1 and 2 Cosmos. Making its debut on modern consoles, this collection of 2 games comes with revamped visuals, multiple campaigns, and branching missions. R-Type Tactics 1 and 2 Cosmos comes to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Switch 2, Switch 1, and PC on June 18th.
The Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales. This is a brand new action RPG from the creators of Octopath Traveler and Bravely Default. The Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales combine stunning... Oh man, why'd you make me read this? HD 2D visuals.
Yeah, got him.
An exciting action-adventure gameplay for the first time. Brian will be playing it. It comes to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch 2, and PC on June 18th.
I will 100% be playing it. Next up, The Gate Must Stand. Fend off brutal waves of demonic hordes in this epic fantasy tower defense survivors like hack and slash among the action, or zoom to strategically control the battlefield. You are the city's last line of defense. Build your base. Defend the gate. Comes to PC June 18th.
And finally, Thank You for Your Application is a story-driven interview simulation game. Oh my gosh, so horror. After 15 rounds of interviews, you are reassigned as a junior interviewer, tasked with screening candidates' resumes according to company requirements and issuing the appropriate thank letters. Oh God, what hell. Thank You for Your Application comes to PC on June 19th.
All right, thank you very much for watching Inside Games Roundup. We do this every single Friday. We try to round up all the news stories and give you all the video games that Brian Garr is going to play over the weekend, so we appreciate it. Please subscribe and maybe hit the video with a like, or even, who knows what hype does, but even a hype. Maybe a hype will do something. Probably not, but maybe. And then also we have a Patreon. That will definitely do something if you support our Patreon. It allows us to make more content, bring on more people like Brian, and our editor Shooklin is just 100% killing it all his content. So thank you very much for supporting us through the Patreon if you do that. And Lawrence is going to post a meme maybe related to a chimpanzee. Is that correct?
This is Inside Games First. A Brian meme is going to be on the Patreon post for the Roundup. So check it out. It's got Brian's aura. I get a lot of Brian energy looking at this meme, so I look forward to you seeing it, and I hope you all have a great weekend. And yeah, stick around, because not only does Shooklin edit, but he composes our music. So the track that plays over our Patreon rolls, straight from the dome from Shooklin. So leave a comment, express your appreciation, and enjoy some video games this weekend. We'll see you all next time on Inside Games.